Hello, good evening everyone, and welcome to VattnaNordea's first webinar about how can I make a difference. A warm welcome, even if you're watching here tonight or sometime in the future. It's a beautiful cold Sunday evening in Sweden. And if you found this video, then I think that you're a little bit like us, the participants here today. You're worried about what's happening at Standing Rock. You're concerned about the future state of our planet and our society, and you're looking for a way to make a difference. And I guarantee you the whole VattnaNordea concept was born out of just that type of curiosity. We are a network that stands in solidarity with the water protectors at Standing Rock, facing down the Dakota Access Pipeline that's being built that threatens the water, the livelihoods, the sacred lands of many thousands and millions of people in North Dakota and the United States. And here in Sweden, our connection to that is the bank Nordea, which has a large amount of investments into this, which you can learn more at www.fairfinanceguide.se that has a background for this. And the concerned people whose faces you see here in the video below me are the wonderful people from all around Sweden. We have Amos from Malmö, Sarah from Lund, Anna from Uppsala, Anders from Stockholm, and Joachim and Elektra from the group Climate Justice Program here in Sweden. And we're here today to share a little bit about what we're doing and offer you guys a welcome to join us and to have your own ways of making your voice heard. So real short on background of the Standing Rock. For the past about 6 months, there has been an incredible thing happening. An indigenous movement has risen to stand in opposition to the Dakota Access Pipeline, which is being built throughout the United States, but primarily has a big risk as it drills under the Missouri River, close to the Standing Rock Reservation of the Sioux tribe. And as the protests grew, thousands of people joined from hundreds of different tribes, indigenous leaders supported by allies from all around the world, against this injustice. Unfortunately, they were met with a heavily militarized police. There have been terrible things happening in terms of police violence and brutality, but these brave and water protectors have faced it all with a bravery and a calm and a poise, sticking to nonviolence, which is incredibly admirable and has captured the imagination of people around the world, especially as we start seeing the connections to financial institutions everywhere. Now, just last week, an incredible thing happened. The US Army, who makes decisions concerning federal water territories on federal land, decided that the company behind the Dakota Access Pipeline, Energy Transfer Partners, were not allowed to drill under the river. This is a huge, they denied the request. And it's an incredible victory. It shows how nonviolent, peaceful, determined, beautiful protest can make a difference. And right now, it's a bit unclear what's happening next. The company behind the pipeline have vowed to continue drilling or finish the pipeline anyway. We all know that Donald Trump is about to be sworn in as president of the United States, and with all that sort of injustices that entails. And also that there's continued financial problems with the pipeline. We don't know what will happen. But one thing is certain. There's a continued call by the leadership at Standing Rock, the indigenous leadership at Standing Rock, for allies around the world to target the financial institutions. And that from that call is a group of people here in Sweden who got together with a concept called VattnaNordea. Now, there's no NGO behind this, there's no organization. This is completely made by anybody who's willing to contribute. So to that end, I'd like to invite our group here. So we do a quick round where you can say your name, where you are, and what the hashtag VattnaNordea means to you. Amos, because you're furthest right on my screen, would you like to begin? Make sure to turn your mic on there as well.
Thanks, Carl. Hello, my name is Amos, and I live in Malmö, and we have made some actions here in Malmö under the name VattnaNordea. And for me, the term is about showing the protesters at Standing Rock that they're physically, we fight with them, and that we, it's about protecting indigenous rights and telling our banks that we do not accept investing in fossil fuels and oppression. Thanks.
Thank
Sarah?
you. Yes, please, Sarah, can you continue?
Yes. Hello. I'm Sarah and I live in Lund. And for me, VattnaNordea means firstly that Nordea should divest their 359 million crowns, which they have invested in indirectly in the companies that actually will build this oil pipeline. And because for me, the fossil fuels already belong to the history. We all know with the climate issue that oil is not a sustainable solution, of course. So we need to stop this pipeline. So both for climate reasons, but also for water safety, because the indigenous people who live there are so dependent on the water. So it's extra important for them to have clean water to live from. And I think, yes, really should support them. And even if it feels far away, we can also do something here because it's a Swedish bank that actually has money in this. So we can do something here to make something good in the bigger scale as well.
Thank you, Sarah. Anna, would you like to continue?
Yeah, I can take this. Hi, I'm Anna. I live in Uppsala. I'm a student here. And I tried not to repeat what's already been said. So basically, I'm a part of this because I'm myself a client at Nordea, and I really don't like what they're doing. And well, for now, I'm a client there, at least. I don't know if I'll be for much longer, but I don't want my bank to be involved in something like this. And I don't think that others clients at Nordea or people working there want this either. I don't believe they want this. I believe people want to know, people deserve to know what's happening and that they are indirectly involved in something like this. And so that's the main reason I'm involved in this. Also, I see it as part of something bigger, the divestment movement, people waking up to paying attention where their money is invested and what the institutions do with the money. So yeah, I see as part of a bigger movement that's on the rise everywhere. So, yeah.
Thank you, Anna. Anders, what does VattnaNordea mean to you?
VattnaNordea means to me that there is a time to make choices, and not making a choice is also making a choice. So I think this is the time to take action and to get the change that we need.
Thank you. Joachim and Elektra, what about you guys?
VattnaNordea for me is a way to show our international solidarity and in creative ways show our connection to the water struggles, and in that way be a part of building an international movement for justice.
Hi, I'm Elektra, and for me, VattnaNordea is basically a platform where people that are concerned and want to do something about it want to show their support in one way or another. By doing actions, supporting the water protectors that are doing an amazing thing in the camp in Standing Rock.
All right, thank you. So you see, there's a lot of different motivations, a lot of different backgrounds, and that's the beauty of it. So about 2 weeks ago, a couple of people decided that something needed to happen and organized a Skype call or Google Hangouts call to start talking to each other around Sweden and see what we could do. And the beautiful thing was that the call had crashed. There were too many people who wanted to be a part of it. And that's part of the reason we're doing a webinar tonight. So instead, we had 2 calls that night, another call the next day, and a whole lot of people started getting engaged. And it started off with a Facebook group, hashtag VattnaNordea coordination group. And over the past 2 weeks, something really fun has been happening. Different types of actions at different levels have been happening all around Sweden. I think we've had 4 different actions in 3 cities. But they're all united by this hashtag VattnaNordea. And the story behind that is that we want to come back to supporting the indigenous leadership with the symbolism of water. And the idea of watering, or Vattna, watering Nordea and watering these banks means that we want them to grow. We want them to grow and lead a change by divesting from the Dakota Access Pipeline. So I'd like to invite our panelists here to talk a little bit about the amazing things they've been doing around Sweden. Amos, would you like to tell us a little bit of what's happened in Malmö?
Sure, Carl. The first action we did in Malmö was quite small demonstration, but it was very entertaining. Beautiful people showing up, and there was, when we met in the center in town with big banners, there was an initiative from a random guy who was with us. There's a bank here, you know, they also have investments here, you know, let's just walk in there and we don't agree. So we did that. It was a Swedbank. We walked in there and it got silent in the whole bank. Quite strange atmosphere. They said, oh, we will call the security guards or the police. We stood there for a while and just told them that we don't agree with investing in the Dakota pipeline. And when we had that said, we walked outside again. And then we continued to the bank Nordea and did the same thing. And it was fun, you know. It always feels good when you're a group of people, you know, physically going into a place and telling the people working there that you don't agree with this and that they need to stop with what they're doing. So that was cool. And our next action will take place in 2 days, because we have Lucia here in Sweden. A group of people who will dress up like you know, with Christmas clothes and go into Nordea and maybe some other banks, and we're gonna sing Lucia songs for them, which we have rewritten with like Dakota pipeline texts, like like Santa Nordea, stop investing in fossil fuels and that stuff. And we're gonna hand out cookies with the like no dapple hashtag and VattnaNordea hashtags on them and stuff like that. So that would be cool. That would be cute, I think. Yeah, and another small action we're planning to do, which is very easy, which anyone could do everywhere in Sweden, is to just be a group of people and repetitively walk into Nordea and like ask them, like, I was thinking about changing to your bank, but then I read about this Dakota pipeline project and I don't feel so sure anymore about this. And what do you have to say about this? And coming back the next day and yeah, you still haven't, you know, taken out your investments from this, you know. Yeah, and just keep on asking until hopefully the people working there will start talking to each other and start talking with their boss, and things might start moving within the banks. So yeah, so that's what we're doing in Malmö, and I'm really looking forward to upcoming actions here and continuing to pressure them. Thanks. Over.
Thank you. I can't wait to see the pictures and the videos from that. Close to Malmö is Lund. Sarah, what have you guys been up to?
Yes, hello. We have had 2 actions so far, and the first one was actually even before this hashtag VattnaNordea started. This is one girl who just felt after the election of the US election of Donald Trump, and she like, no, we can't do this. And she also heard about this North Dakota Access Pipeline, and we need to do something. So it's actually her initiative, and she found some other people, and I was also involved to do just normal demonstrations. So we gathered, we made a Facebook event, and we made like a quick lunch demonstration. Because a lot of students have a lot of activities in the evening, but we thought, well, everyone has a break during the lunch. So I think we gathered around 40 people. So we started at the main square in Lund, Stortorget, and where one person had a speech. Then we went outside SCB, where another person had a speech from us organizers about like what is divestment, what do we want, and divest Nordea. Then we went to Nordea, where I held a short speech, and then we went down to Länsförsäkringar and Handelsbanken, who also have investments in the North Dakota Access Pipeline, and where there was the final speech. And after that, like we who were like organizing it, we hadn't planned so much further. We thought it was over, but everyone was like, what next? What next? What can we do now? So it was really a lot of like joy in the air, and everyone's like, oh my God, this is so cool, and we want to do more. So it was so amazing to feel the inspiration that like a lot of people wanted times or in different ways, and that's we started a Facebook group. That's always nice and easy to communicate. And then we made a second action where we also during lunch, and first 4 people of us went into the Nordea office, and I'm a customer there, so I went to I took this piece of paper number, and when it was my turn, I went to the person who was working there, and I just told them, hi, I know I have funds, like I have money in funds in Nordea, and I don't want them to be invested in the fossil industry. So how can I find out which companies they are? Because I don't want them to be companies in the industry. And the woman helped me. These are your funds, and you can look here and here. It wasn't very clear answer. It's like, you can look this up yourself. But still, I think I raised attention. I got the attention from the other ones as well, I think. And meanwhile, the other ones, like from us in the team or in the group, we talked with the customers. Just, hi, do you know about this? And asked them to sign this it's petition, or you can send a letter to the, to one in Nordea, the like board head or board chairperson of Nordea, I think. So I asked them to sign that, and we had like t-shirts where we had painted messages on water is life, and this bank is invested in wrecking our future, and so on. So that was like one part, and the other part was that we had like a demonstration again, and we gathered even more, like 60 or 80 people. It was so amazing to see so many people there. So we had a speech at this main square again, and then every one of us walked with the banners. We had banners both times. We walked with the banners outside Nordea, and we're taking a photo, and 2 people had 2 big buckets with water, so that's where the water came in to pour, and they poured out these buckets with water. Just so we stand in front of Nordea and just poured it out on the ground as a symbol to like, this is wasted money. So that's what we did, and we felt very happy. And one had a contact with a woman who has a horse. So we had a woman riding on the horse during the second action as well, which was very fun. And it felt like creative, like everything is possible. So, and I had a lot of fun, and it went really well, and we're going to have more actions. We're planning on something the coming week. We'll see how that goes. I guess my time is out, so I'll pass on to the next person, I suppose, or I'll give the back word to you, Carl.
Thank you. Wow, a horse. I mean, I just don't know where to begin. That's incredible. From one student city to the next. Anna, would you like to give some examples of what's happened in Uppsala?
Yes. Hi again. Well, after that, I feel like we have a lot of catching up to do in Uppsala, but there has been stuff happening as well. We have amazing people involved here as well. And yeah, so there's been a few minor actions, but I think also we've been saying that like we kind of want to partly keep in that way, like have an ongoing thing, but like smaller things, or it can be bigger as well, but it doesn't have to be in any way big. It can be just a few people just going to the banks and just doing it like over and over and over again makes a difference and creates this like something's happening. So yeah, the first one, I wasn't personally there, but was some people going, Carl, for example, going into Nordea and pouring some water on the floor and talking about VattnaNordea and the Dakota Access Pipeline and yeah, holding a small speech about that and yeah, getting some attention, as I heard. And then the second one was a bit bigger. We were around 10 people and we had banners. We did a really fancy banner the night before, especially for this that says VattnaNordea and like Nordea divest from Dakota Access Pipeline. And then we had another banner, which is a big one that's been used before in divestment protests. And yeah, there's pictures on the Facebook group if you want to see. And so yeah, we were holding the banners and then we were talking with people coming and going. We were mostly outside of the office, talking with people going in and coming out and like yeah, asking them if they know about this. And yeah, well, a few of them have heard about Standing Rock actually, but had no idea that Nordea is in any way involved in that, which is they were actually grateful to hear, which of course gives us a lot of inspiration and motivation to go forward with this, because yeah, we had some good discussions. Also one family, there was a young mother with a baby and a grandma, so 3 generations. They were really happy talking with us and they were really like excited about that we were there and happy for the information, and they actually went back into the bank to ask about this. So we were kind of like recruiting people to do that for us, not to be the only ones going in ourselves and asking, but recruiting other people to do that. Yeah, go and question this, like once you're in there and do whatever you're gonna do, like the reason you had to go into the bank, just like, can you ask about this as well and see what they have to say? And I think that's something that, yeah, people were happy to do, some at least. So yeah, more actions to come. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I can also add that the grandmother who had gone into that bank, she she thought that they were very rude in their responses and that they told her to be, och in Swedish, att hon måste vara mer källkritisk. Och hon hade svarat, de måste vara mer självkritiska, which means that the bank had told her that they should be more critical to their sources, and she told them they have to be more self-critical. She was very annoyed and very tough in her answer, which I really enjoyed. So that's really, really great. And one common thing about all these actions is really how they've been at any scale. And the way we spread the word, a lot of them, is through our social media. If you go to search for the VattnaNordea page, please go in, like it, share the post, and we're going to be continuously uploading pictures and videos from these actions to help spread the word. But social media isn't everything. We also need to reach out more and make our voices heard. That means engaging with traditional press. So Anders, how do you think we should engage with the press and journalists?
Yes, thank you, Carl. So I will take 5 minutes to talk about how we can improve our ways with the press, because the press is an incredible tool to get our message out and also to get more people to notice our action, because we put so much effort into these actions that we are doing, and of course we want as many people to see them as possible. And sometimes we forget that the people who see us doing the action in the streets or by the bank is actually the minority, of the people, because the most of them will see us in the newspaper if we get there, or in social media. And one important part to get out in the newspapers for us and other media is to improve our press releases. So I will give some notes about this, and I also studied journalism and been doing press releases and stuff like that for different actions for some time. So always have a press release ready before the action, and try to send it out before the action if possible. It of course depends on what action it is, but earlier the better. So if there's no need for secrecy, feel free to send it out like 1 or 2 days in advance. And this will greatly improve your chances to get into the media. And when you write the press release, think about what language you are using. You are probably not writing to another activist, so write accordingly. As a tip, try to copy the language of the media you are sending to write it as an article, so the journalist easier can see if this is something she or he can use for a story. Specify in the press release if you will have pictures available, and if you will have pictures available, make them high resolution so they can actually use them in a newspaper or something like that. Also try to make the pictures look as professional as possible. Don't be afraid to tell activists to move your banners or stuff like that to get a better picture, because this greatly improves. Like using the horse, for example, that was brilliant. Also, send them contact information to people who can do an interview. And make sure these interview people are available, because many times we are not getting into the press because the journalists are missing their deadline because they can't get in contact with the person they can actually ask. Respect the deadlines and times of the journalists, because they are working under. Nearly all media in Sweden has budget cuts, so they have way too much to do already. And if they don't get everything in time, this means, first of all, press release, then pictures, and then interview people. They will not be able, even if they want to write about us. And also take care of the journalists, because they are just people. They are not feeling that they get what they need, then they will probably not want to write about us next time. So if we do a good job and get them everything they need in time, and that they get the sense that they like us, then they will probably want to write about us if they can the next time we call them. So if you get a good contact with journalists, please contact them even earlier next time, so they can have a chance to prepare. So this is also some points about interviews, what to think about an interview. And then you can use something called the ABC method. A stands for answer the question, because we are so pumped to get our message out that we sometimes forget to answer the question, and that can make it sound like we are dodging the question. So answer the question, and then B, build a bridge to what you want to say, your message. And then C, communicate your message. So an example is, if you get a question from a journalist, how do you think people will react to your action? You can first A, answer. I think people will react with shock to learn what their bank is doing. Then B, build the bridge. Right now, people are overall learning how their bank is putting money into this pipeline. And C, come with your message. We are here to inform the public of Nordea's part, that Nordea is putting 360 million and that it needs to be stopped. And then you answer the question and also tell why you are here. And since questions can get really specific from journalists, It's always good to have a spokesperson designated that can have time to prepare for those questions. So the only real question that everyone needs to have an answer to on an action is, why are you here? And this is not just for media, it's also for people passing by. If a guard is coming up and asks you, and also for yourself, that you know why you are there. Yeah. So also with pictures shortly, try not to smile at them if there is something heavy you are talking about or something heavy you are protesting against, because then you can't really show in the picture the severity of the situation. So try to use the like action face, if you know what I mean. Severe accordingly. And if you're not happy with your answer to the journalist, ask them to say the question again, because they want you to give them a good answer so they can use it. Also, don't panic. Remember your preparations and it will go awesome. Yeah, that was it.
Right, great. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is such an important part of any action, and is something that, you know, me personally, I felt that I was always stressing about. Once you try it once, you realize it's rather easy and it's easy to get into. And if you join the VattnaNordea coordination page and you'd like any feedback or have any questions for the rest of the people who are doing actions just like you, or want to share people to read your press release, there are lots of people willing to support and help each other out. And so the actions will look different and there'll be different targets. But one thing that's common is the symbolism of water, of showcasing this is what the indigenous leadership at Standing Rock are protecting. And there can be so many different ways to communicate that. So Elektra and Joachim, how can we communicate using different methods in order to make our message clear?
All right, so we are in a big struggle, and while we are trying to get our messages out, our opponents are trying to spread different messages about us. For example, the water protectors in North Dakota has been called anti-energy protesters and something like that, framing it in a way that makes the resistance look bad. So our task is to find out ways that we can dramatize the issue, the conflict in a way that makes
Oh no, I think we lost the feed there just for a second. We'll see if we can get that back shortly. Always the technical issues, whatever you're doing, right? So as we're talking about in different ways to dramatize and how your message gets shifted, this idea of VattnaNordea is really for anybody to take action. And anybody is welcome to use the hashtag VattnaNordea to share the information about what they're doing and how they can get engaged. And one thing that we do try to keep in mind, however, is we continue to follow the example set and leadership by the indigenous communities, that we always stick to strategically non-violence. You know, we're not there, and as we enter banks, as we talk to employees, we're not there against the employees. You know, the employees are working for the institution. We love the employees. They have the potential to create that change. They're not the ones making decisions about investments, but they can make their voices heard and create that change, and we need them on our side. So we're always there talking and encouraging the employees to take a stand, as well as the customers. I mean, half of me almost wish I was a Nordea customer so I could tell them that I want my money to go somewhere else. So encourage the customers. They could be part of the solution. And the idea behind hashtag VattnaNordea, to water Nordea, means that we want Nordea to grow. So unfortunately, we just lost Elektra and Joachim from the call. And they're from a group called the Climate Justice Program, which is a nonprofit group, a collective of trainers who support grassroots activists all over Sweden. And they have very generously volunteered to host workshops and trainings anywhere in Sweden you'd like. So if you have a group that wants to have new ideas, you're welcome to invite them, and they can help you and support you in developing new action plans. And they were also very specifically talking about artivism. How do we use art? How do you use culture? How do you get our message across from different ways? And not just the traditional norms of protest, but how do we innovate and think outside the box? Because that's the beauty of it. Our message is a positive one. We're here in solidarity with some incredible people in the United States. How do we make our voices heard? And anybody can do that. So the point of this webinar is to invite you to be a part of it. If you're upset about what's happening, if you're tired of watching social media and the news and not seeing a change, come join us. We're just like you. We don't have any massive experience or trained activists. We simply want to make our voices heard and see a positive change here with the banking system. And you can do that as well. Go in, like the VattnaNordea page, share what's happening and spread the word about the actions, but go also into the VattnaNordea, #VattnaNordea coordination group, which is a Facebook group where everybody's sharing ideas, spreading the word about different things that are happening, and supporting each other in this going forward. You are very, very welcome. So thank you for taking the time to see us tonight, and I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful continuation, and welcome to the struggle. Good night. Thank you. And thank you so much to all our panelists as well, from all parts of Sweden, who, just like you, want to make a difference. Have a great night.